one I got on it now is like one bath. A one-bath apartment for rent. Yeah, you saw that one? Yeah. That was Darren Ash's. Yeah. Well, they ripped. Okay, the guy serviced it yesterday, so he ripped the this overnight, and he ripped the showtime down. So I put church worship service 10 a.m. and that got ripped down too. And I think it was my crazy, weird, angry neighbor who lives past the flag lot. So. It's like, hey, keep ripping them down. I got them all night, and it's on the internet, so it's universal. I'm gonna, instead of bitching about it, that's probably gonna be the thing that moves it away from my property fastest because we're not gonna deal with this, but I'm gonna track that damn thing down and find it because they gotta have it. Okay, I'll be back. Thank you.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to CSC Portland. I'm Patrick Shortman, co-owner and general manager here. Thank you for being with us for the stand-up showcase. I'll be introducing Carl Wolfson, the teacher and MC for tonight in just a moment. I'd like to give it up for Jay Rambo, who's helping everybody at Door and Concessions tonight, doing a great job. Thank you, Jay. Because if it was just me, you wouldn't have had anywhere near as good service, that's for sure. So a couple things about what we're doing. By being in this room, we are streaming this on the Zooms. I don't think anybody's watching right now, but it also goes from there via a little software package called Restream to YouTube, and therefore it's going to live on YouTube. So by being in this room, you agree that your image might be seen and might be used for promotional purposes from now until the end of time.
You're telling us now?
Hey, you're in the class. So, okay, good, yeah. If the students vote, they can take it to unlisted later, but it's public for now. So, that's great. Also, a reminder, this is a class, these are students, and we do not support heckling here at CSC Portland. So, you are here to support, yes? If you want to heckle me. I've been doing improv for 36 years, and believe me, you don't want it. I've got A-bomb lines that you'll never forget. So, without too much further ado, I want to introduce Carl Wolfson, who has been teaching now for what seems like many, many years, but it's only been about a year and a half, but it's been fantastic. It's had such an impact on our organization and on the community, on the people doing it. If you're in this audience and you've had this class, raise your hand. Yeah, it's a bunch of folks. It's awesome. And here they are, supporting other students, and that tells you a lot about what this is about. So if you're interested in that experience or the experience that you see these folks have tonight, you can take these classes, and we have classes starting January 15th and 18th in stand-up, January 8th and 11th in Improv 101, taught by me. Those will be my 129th and 130th 101 classes. I started when I was 2, and I'm still 2 in some ways. So, but Carl's been done it on the road for 40 years. He's been on the radio. He's been on TV. He might tell you something about that. He was on KPOJ and KPAM here in Portland, at times doing awesome progressive radio. We appreciate that effort for sure. And the guy's heart's like 5 sizes too large. He's amazing. Give it up for Carl Wolfson.
Patrick, keep going for Patrick, everybody in Comedy Sports tonight. Yeah. And they've been here 30 years. Give it up, 30 years at this place. 30 years. How many mayors is that in Portland? So at least 31, I think. Yeah. How about a hand for...
Yeah, it's a lot of Scaramucci's, I'll tell you that.
A lot of Scaramucci's. Well, first of all, how many of you are here related to or to see one of our members of the class? Most of you, yeah? Thank you for coming out. These 7 have worked so hard. I have loved this class, and give them all a round of applause before we start this program. class is special to me, and as Patrick mentioned, I've been doing this for 43 years, 8,000 plus shows, and I am nostalgic about it now. Maybe that's why my heart's bigger than it used to be, but I think a lot about 4 decades plus in comedy. I was on Alan Thicke's show, Thick of the Night, every week, and Alan passed away suddenly, and I was on Joan Rivers every other week, and Joan passed away suddenly. I kind of wish I'd been on The Apprentice. But, okay. That's my little feeler, and yes, it's the crowd we want. Thank you. I do that joke in Richland, Washington, get booed every time, but fuck it, it's Richland, you know. Years ago, I was doing Dog and Cat material in Richland. Someone in the back yelled out she had a lab. I said, what kind? She said meth, and so, yes. But I try to make the Trump thing work for me in Richland. I remember 2016, actually, when it was first running, I was playing in Richland. I was at a diner, had a very nice breakfast, but the waitress had a huge Trump button on. I mean, you're just not going to see that a lot of places. Maybe not at places we go. But it's fine, I didn't mention it. You know, I had a nice breakfast, and she brought me the check, and I gave it back to her, and I said, Mexico will pay for it. So, I ate fucking free in Richland. I love it. It's really good. My mom's not around anymore, but my mother, any Republican family member, I mean, everyone have Republican family members. I mean, it's like, you need a support group, really, for that. My mother was a lifelong Republican. My dad and me and my three sisters all became Democrats, so she got bitter and bitter as she got older. But I used to visit her in Florida, and it's like, we loved each other. It was like never ending, you know. She accidentally bleached my Obama t-shirt, so I set fire to her Glenn Beck Christmas sweater. That's what I did. Every time she dropped me off at the airport, I'd smack a Jesus is a liberal bumper sticker on a big Buick and make her ride around with it, you know. We still have one Trumper left of the family, Aunt Fern. Oh my God, she's a piece of work. In Texas, can you imagine? 94 years old, she's always complaining nobody ever calls her, so I got her one of those "How Am I Driving" bumper stickers. And another test to see how quick you are, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you passed it. Aunt Fern is still the Cowboys lost today, which makes me happy because I'm from Philadelphia. And yeah, I always like to see the Bills beat them today. I really enjoyed it. But my Aunt Fern, even at 94, still a huge Dallas Cowboys fan, like they are down there. And several years ago, we were down there for Thanksgiving, and she's in the den watching the game, and we hear, "Touchdown, Cowboys!" Like 20 seconds later, we hear, "Touchdown, Cowboys!" And Aunt Fern is the instant replay. They scored one time. Shut up, you know? Don't screw up traffic. It's all right. Yeah, I think the happiest person in Texas, though, is George W. Bush. Because with Trump, now he's not the worst president, right? Think about it. That's a load off that man's shoulders, isn't it? You remember how he used to talk to us like we were in the 3rd grade? The hurricane is in the water. When the hurricane hits the land, there will be an emergency on the land. People say to me, when will the hurricane hit the land? When will it make landfall? Well, I'm the decider. I decide when the hurricane. Oh, they got so angry with me when I performed in Texas, man. Some kid came up to me and said, "You should listen to President Bush like he listens to the country." So I did. I tapped his phone without a court order, you know? Well, I'm going to do a little comedy in between these acts because this is their night. They worked very hard for it. And let's get a round of applause to get the show started. First performance. They have every comic I've ever known has a sheet, by the way, and I've known everybody. They have a little sheet where this sheet has the names of the performers. Okay, but most comics have sheet with their bits on it. So they all had their sheets out in the green room. So I said, what we're going to do right before the show is exchange sheets. So I want you to do the other person's act. That's the big fuck you heard backstage. It's actually an exercise in my advanced class. I make, several of them go, well, I'm not gay, I can't do that. But they're going to be great. And joining us now is a gentleman, I'm really pleased to have him start off the show. He makes me laugh. I think he's generally extremely funny, and he's worked hard to add material to his natural disposition. Please welcome Mike Shriver, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Shriver!
Sheep? Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike. I'm gay. People never guess this. Even though I'm a single guy, I live in Portland, somehow they never guess it. So I have to wear like pride pins and rainbow hats and all. And there's so many, you know, I'm never sure which one to wear. So I finally gave up and I put on the flag of Zimbabwe, which has 4 different colored stripes, and it has a star and a yellow bird. And I figure that covers every person's orientation and some canaries. My friends my gay friends like to watch RuPaul on TV and all that stuff, and it's just not my thing. I have a lot of trouble filling out the gay punch card, you know. And it has all the things on it. It has fashion, it has the royal family, Will and Grace, it has gaydar, it has makeovers, it has Grindr. Somebody told me about Grindr, and I didn't understand what they were talking about. And now for 3 weeks I've been dating an espresso machine. I'm not sure it's going anywhere, but it's really hot. I do have one thing. The one thing on the punch card that I have is I love Broadway shows. Always have. Any big production, you know, big costumes and everything. And I think it has to do with being brought up Catholic. When I was real little, the masses were in Latin. They were big productions with costumes, and they had the robes and the hats and everything. And then a few years after that, they simplified all the masses. And they took away the costumes, they took away the glitter, they took away the chorus line, they took away the big 11 o'clock number, and I think that's when they lost me. I get a little worried, getting a little older, I get a little worried that I don't want to get out of touch, you know. I have to be careful buying clothes with like writing and logos on them. I'm not sure what the logos mean. I was wearing this shirt with a logo on it, walking down the street, and a guy came up the other way and goes, "Solidarity!" And I had no idea what this was. Apparently I had started a movement. Really easy to start a movement here in Portland. Another thing I find is my body doesn't need food anymore. I can eat just nothing and still gain weight. And I'm thinking maybe of turning in my body for the renewable energy credits. Another thing I find is that getting older, time gets a little warped. I was listening to the radio the other day, and if you're younger, you don't know the radio. It's like a podcast that flies through the air and it lands in a box. So I was listening, you know, to the radio, and that song came on, that new song that I really liked when I heard it the other day. And I was like, that's that new song, I've got to go look that up. I went and looked it up, and the group broke up 30 years ago. One thing I maybe do have in common with some younger people is I don't own a car. That was a big part of why I moved to Portland. So I didn't want to have to own a car. And you know, we have the great transit here, I love it. The one kind of inconvenient thing is getting groceries. It's not that easy to get, you know, lug around groceries without a car. And sometimes I use this service, you know, where they shop for you, and they, you know, then they deliver it. And they try really hard, I'm sure they try really hard, but they always get something wrong. The last time I used this service, they have the option of giving you the best available substitute. So last time I used the service, I ordered Parmesan cheese. And what I got as a replacement, as the best available substitute, was toothpaste. So, and I'm trying to think of what's going through the person's mind as they're looking there. You know, they're looking at the counter with the Parmesan cheese, and you know they don't have the one I want. You know, and they're thinking, well, I have to give the best available substitute. So what does Mike want to put on his food? I know Aquafresh, and they'll run off to the toothpaste aisle. So you may know there's this thing in comedy where K sounds are supposed to be funny. It's an old thing. And I thought I'd have an easy time because my name is Mike. It has a K. I thought I'd just come up here and go, Mike, Mike, Mike. Everybody laughed and everything. Carl said, no, no, no. You have to actually write material. So, you know, so this is where we are. People have trouble with my last name all the time, though, Schreiber. You know, and I'll go like to these offices, I'll go to the DMV or the doctor's office, and they always say, can you spell that, please? And I start spelling S-C-H-R-Y-V, and I can see them glazing over. So there's no vowels in this name. I need a vowel. Where's Vanna White? I need to buy a vowel. And so to get around this, I try calling them, you know. And so, of course, I get that voice menu. We've all done this. You get that voice menu. You know, and they always say, please listen carefully, as our options have recently changed. You notice there is never a time when their options have not recently changed. And I'm just imagining these armies of people doing nothing but like changing voice menus all day long. You have a good day, honey? How many menus you change? Oh, 14,000. Hey, it's a good day. But, you know, I got through the voice menu okay, and until I got to the part where they said, please spell your name. So I said, okay, S-C-H-R-Y-V. I'm sorry, there are no vowels in this name. And I just gave up. So you take a class to come here, you know, this is the big show at the end of the class. And I was looking up, deciding whether to take the class or not, you know, and it's Carl's Comedy Class. Well, that's got to be a funny class. It's all K-sound. But it went well. I think the class went well. I actually got a compliment. One person in the class said, when you go up there, I just want to laugh at you. And I took it as a compliment, you know. The other thing is, for the show here, they tell you to bring your friends. And some of my friends came, thank you, it's great, I love that you came. That's all great, but what the problem is that it meant that I had to throw out my act, which was just mocking my friends. So this is what we're left with. And the other thing I was concerned about with the show is I was afraid of going on last because I thought it might be like the kids' talent show where everybody else's parents have left and it's just your parents out there. You know, I'd be up here going, you know, oh, I had a tough childhood. They'd be going, we know, we were there. I'm Mike Schreiber, thank you.
Mike Schreiber. Actually, a little joke, that's not Mike Schreiber. That was the best available substitute. Take another bow, Mike. Good job. Really good job. Very cool. How did your parents take you coming out, by the way? Did you come out to your parents?
No, we don't talk about that kind of thing in my family.
Yeah, truth. That's a hard thing. Everyone in my family was great except my Republican mother, you know. And it was like getting my husband and I have been married, actually our anniversary last week, 26 years. Thank you very much. I think that's like 52 straight years. I don't know what the conversion. I really don't know what the conversion is. It could be 13, it could be 52, I have no clue. But the year after I met Gary, I had to take him to meet my Republican mother in Florida. This is 1998. We were sitting at dinner and I said, "This is my partner." And she goes, "Which one of you is gay?" And I'm like, "Okay, well, let's hand out some basic guidelines here." Which she followed quickly with, "Well, we didn't have homosexuals in the 1950s. And then, well, somebody put the fins on those Cadillacs. You know, somebody did those beehive hairdos. And we have a lesbian friend, Jenny, who also has a right-wing mother in Florida. And she said, when she came out to her mother, she said, "I'm a lesbian." Her mother goes, "What's next, Jenny? Heroin?" Lesbianism, the gateway drug. Okay. Our next performer is also very naturally funny, and he comes to us from China. Yeah, okay. He's going to feel really welcome. No, I'm not introducing you yet. I have to deal with the China silence. I'm going to smooth that over like, fuck, okay. Is he a communist? I don't know. Is he involved with Hunter Biden? I just don't know. So I want you to be very patient. His English is extremely good, but it's you know, first of all, how many of us could speak great Mandarin or Cantonese if we went to China, right? Nobody. Oh, somebody could?
Yeah, there's one back there.
There's one. There's always one. If you'd like a tutorial, no. His English, I think, is very good, but and his jokes are hilarious. So stay with him. He is very funny. Please welcome Yufei Gao, ladies and gentlemen.
So, I'm Yufei, and in Chinese, my name means something or whatever fly very high in the space. Yeah, as a classical Asian, I'm straight. I'm not gay. I'm straight. I'm single, and I was made in China, no battery included. But yeah, we just like not fueling by battery, we fueling by food. So in Chinese, a few thousands ago, years ago, somebody had been asked what people living for. The answer from Chinese people is food, beauty, and sex. But well, after I come to America, I just feel, no, this is not the answer for America. In America, people just prioritize the sex in the very beginning. And they are so proud of like their ability about the sex. Especially important. So if you find, when you go to a camping site in Mount Hood, and you see some shaking hands, by 1%, there could be some hurricanes. By another 1%, there could be an earthquake. But for the remaining, like 98%, there could be someone having sex inside. And for the same thing, if you are seeing a U-Haul in I-5, maybe by 10%, just because it's just shaking naturally. But if they're shaking very hard, by the rest of the 90%, someone having sex. And you could find almost the same thing in any gas station in I-5. And Americans are so proud of their ability about this. And they are always teasing any of Asian, not only the Chinese people, why you only spend 2 minutes in a bedroom? No, that's not true. We are so proud of efficiency. All the Asian people tracking the sex, evaluate the sex by efficiency. So when you're talking about the 2 minutes, you also include the 1.5 minutes people are dressing and undressing. So, yeah, but think about that, right? American people like could having 7 or 8 times sex more than Asians every day, and they can proceed maybe 10 times or 20 times longer than Asians. But how many people in America? Only 300 million? But look at China. there is 1.5 billion. And it is not only China, also for India, they are more than China. There is also another 1.5 billion. So, yeah, we just evaluate sex in different ways, but it doesn't necessarily mean Asians are not good at sex. So other than sex, the other culture shock I have in Portland is the food, the horrible Chinese food. So this Monday, I just fly back from Los Angeles at very late, like 9 p.m. at night. I went to the Panda Express near the airport. So I just came out and say, excuse me, sir, I'm so hungry. Could you give me a orange chicken? And the tender just come and give me a picture of Donald Trump. And that's something I definitely couldn't take, right? So I just say, okay, sir, can I have a General Washington chicken? I'm so sad because there is no General Washington chicken in Panda Express. And no panda, of course. So they just say, can we give you the best substitution, the General Tso chicken? But we don't have General Tso chicken at all in China. That's so sad. And as you can see, I'm single, I'm straight, I'm coming to the 30, so sometimes I just came out and dating with someone. I think that's the unified answer for all Asian person. The only way for Asian person dating is the food dating. And sometimes people are irritated because I'm just not eating very politely. It is not my fault just because the food is so good. Just not Chinese food, of course. And also, like, when you are dating or even having sex with a Chinese or any Asian guy, and you see the light in their eyes, it doesn't necessarily mean the guy or the lady are falling in love with you. It could be food. It could be like they just remember, oh, I have a super great dinner tonight, or I have an idea about the lunch tomorrow, or oh shit, I just forget my instant noodle in the kitchen. So I came to Portland. I have so many culture shocks here, like the shaking Subaru running all the way for whatever reason, and people dating with espresso machine, or people call themselves the fucking day. And hope you enjoy all the fun in Portland. I'm Yufei. Thanks everyone.
Yufei, ladies and gentlemen, Yufei. Thank you. Good job, Yufei.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if they Beijing will have a copy of that soon. Very efficient comedy, yeah. That was really, really good. I'm trying to get we have our dry cleaner, Mrs. Lee's from South Korea. She is very funny. I'm trying to get her in the class. She speaks very little English, but and I'd love to have her in the class. She's very funny. A couple of years ago, I took a pair of jeans in, and it had you're supposed to point out the stains. It had a little red stain right here, and she goes, "Is it the lipstick?" For $20 off that class. I mean, really good. My mother used to say, "Oh, it's so easy being." My mother just, we just deal with each other about politics our whole lives. She would, so easy to be a liberal in Portland. Liberal in Portland. My mother, I think my favorite thing my mother used to say to me was, "Don't go to therapy, they'll just blame the mother." Really? Tell me more about that. Save me some money, Mom. But she would say, "Oh, so nice, it's so easy being a liberal out there." So I finally told her, I said, and I'll tell you, it's not easy to be a liberal in Portland. It's not. And my story is the first 6 years of my radio career, I was on KPOJ, and it was, I guess, the most fun, not the most fun, but the best job I've ever had. Political radio, we interviewed everybody in the world. I loved it, a lot of work, but I loved it. After 6 years, they flipped the format to syndicated sports, and they laid us off. And I was driving home. What I'm going to tell Gary, this is just, I've lost the pinnacle of my career. This is the job I always wanted. What am I going to do now? I just drove around and around and around, past all those Washington drivers going the wrong way down a one-way street. And I got home, and I was so down, and I drove into the garage, and I closed the garage door, and I just kept the car running, and I thought I'm just going to end it. And after about 10 minutes, I realized I have an electric car. So I ate some Chinese food, I felt worse, and it's all better. One more time for Yufei Gao. I love all our performers, and our next performer is, she's just terrific. I love comedy because everyone has a different perspective. Everyone has a different point of view. I ask them to start about their lives, their truth, and I have never had someone like Lindsay who does what she does for a living, and I just love her. Lindsay Stollard, ladies and gentlemen. Lindsay!
Hi, my name's Lindsay. I'm going to talk about a place that everyone loves to visit. The dental office. Yeah, people love the dental office about as much as they love the DMV or the lost baggage counter at the airport. Yeah, we're right up there. And after working at dental offices for the last over a decade, people are not afraid to tell you right off the bat how much they love going to the place of your work. I can't tell you the number of times I go and introduce myself to a patient, and the first thing they say to me is, "I hate it here." It's like, shit, I do too, but at least you can leave. But, for the last 5 years, I moved out of general practice, and I'm now working at an oral surgeon's office, which is like dental surgery on steroids or other fun time-traveling drugs. Yeah, we have those. We have all the medications to kind of let you time travel through all the experiences that you hate so much. Just as a rundown, we have the drug that killed Michael Jackson. We have the drug that killed Prince. We have the drug that's used in lethal injection. And we have horse tranquilizer. Nighty-night, Mr. Ed. So I'm essentially a professional drug pusher. Yeah. And, I get people, I may look very unassuming, like, sweet, quiet, but every day at my job, I get people really, really close to death. Every day. So, don't fuck with me. And, you know, everyone's a little bit different with the drugs that they need. Some people end up needing a little bit more than other people to get them through these experiences. And there are signs that they need more drugs. They may do stuff like starting to twitch, buck, jerk. Not exaggerating here. It's kind of what they look like. And they're not in pain, they're not aware of what's happening. They're in the lighter plane of anesthesia, they need more drugs to get them down. These are what's known as rodeos. And the drug that's typically needed in a rodeo is, you got it, horse tranquilizer. Giddy up. Yeah. So, as a perk of working in an oral surgeon's office, typically get some discounted or even free treatment that you might not otherwise be able to afford. Sidebar. The US is #1 in medical bankruptcy. We view teeth as luxury bones, and they have their own special insurance plans that actually aren't insurance. They're coupons at best and scams at worst. In sidebar. So after about a month of working at my job, I ended up needing a procedure that I needed to be sedated for it. Well, afterwards, I got a rundown from my coworkers about what happened. I ended up needing about 3.5 times the amount of Michael Jackson juice to keep me asleep. I bit my coworker. I broke a mirror. I was told that I was the worst patient they'd had in 19 years of experience. Self-high five. Yeah, I was the supreme rodeo queen. Which explained why I had a lasso around my neck when I woke up. And in addition to being a professional drug pusher, I am also a secret non-vegan. Keep it down, keep it down. I don't want the march of the pitchfork-carrying mob coming out of my house. Ooh. Yeah, I'm a secret non-vegan now after being a vegan for over 16 years. Everybody has opinions about vegans. Most of them are negative. Yeah, vegans are shrill, militant, need to let people know about their vegan status right upon meeting. The vegan does CrossFit, which one do they tell you about first? Yeah. People like vegans about as much as they like dentists. One thing about vegans is nobody cares about protein until they find out you're a vegan. Then it's all, where do you get your protein? Bitch, where do you get yours? Do you know what pink slime is? Yeah. But anyway, some people do feel better taking up a plant-based diet. I was not one of those. You know, I had lifelong stomach issues. They just kept getting worse and worse. Go to the doctor countless times, debilitating pain. I looked like I was 11 months pregnant. But all the basic tests came back negative. So being a 20 or 30-something woman in America with basic negative tests, obviously my cause of my problems was anxiety. Yeah. Yeah, so just being told to exercise more, call us when if you're still having problems in 10 to 12 weeks, that's a doctor, or go fuck yourself. But eventually, finally, at long last, I did land on a diagnosis. It's a sexy one. SIBO. Oh yeah. Small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. How hot is that? Put that on a dating profile, you're not going to be single for long. Yeah. Ironically, with SIBO, a vegan diet is like the worst thing, especially in the early phases. All that fiber, all that good stuff for you, worst thing for SIBO. Actually, a carnivore diet is better. So you would think that after like my struggles here and finding out that I had an actual diagnosis and changing diet would help, I would switch from being a vegan then and there. Nope. Not me, I'm not a quitter. Yeah, but, after seeing me struggle and everything through this over the years, my fiance, it surprised me too. Knowing that having a more carnivore diet is the best thing for this, and seeing me struggle, kindly, lovingly, rationally, suggested, like, hey, maybe try eating meat if you feel better. My response to this was, but eventually, I did try it as an experiment, just to see. And honestly, I did start feeling better. My workouts were going better, it's just better overall. So I felt comfortable introducing like ethically sourced salmon, ethically sourced tuna, chicken, as long as they had like all their earthly hopes and dreams met. Needed to make sure that their wills were finalized. Yeah. I kept it non-vegan, a secret non-vegan here, because people are weird AF about food, and I'm tired. But chicken's out of the coop now, folks. I'm not a vegan anymore. Have you guys heard about CrossFit? Thank you.
Lindsay, is your wonderful fiance in the audience? Oh, and what's his name?
Justin.
Who?
Justin.
Justin, where are you? Justin, all right. Did you take Lindsay or just me? Did you? Both. Okay, that's a good answer. Thank you. Yeah. One more time for Lindsay. That's the first couple weeks in this class, we all struggled till Lindsay started bringing drugs in from the office. And most of the material you heard tonight, ketamine, or whatever. Not ketamine. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know one drug from another. Yeah, good for you. When's the wedding? We'll all show. You all want to show up at the wedding?
I'm drawing a blank because I'm nervous. I think it's July 15th.
These comics are so good. The audience is nervous. It's August what?
June 15th.
June. Yeah, typical guy has no clue. But a rack of meat will be served. Do you have any clue where it is? You're just gonna blindfold
That I know. It's at a mountain hut.
A mountain hut. Sounds like a goat on a spit to me.
Mount Hood. It's at the top of Mount Hood.
The top of Mount Hood. Yeah, good luck getting a lot of people up there. I think your marriage is going to peak right away, baby.
We're old, so we'll take it.
You're old? Okay. Thank you. That makes me your great-great-grandfather. Thank you a lot. Jesus. Well, we wish him a happy marriage. Come on. Yeah, after 26 years, I can tell you, things are a little bit different, A couple months ago, Gary, my husband, said something really funny. He said, "Oh, you should take my comedy class." He goes, "Oh, I've taken that class." You know your marriage is good when you walk in the room. Am I bothering you? Now or in general? The dinner conversation is sparkling too. Or at Cafe Nell a couple of weeks ago, he's like, "Is there anything worse than hard butter? You get those stupid pads." I'm going, "Genocide?" A wild guess. right, no, our marriage was great. We just got a dog, so, we did. We always had cats, and we had 2 cats, they passed, 2 cats, they passed, and then we were gonna get more cats till I said, I'm not cleaning litter boxes anymore, and so we looked online for these robot litter, you know what I'm talking about? These litter boxes it's a robot, and it cleans itself or whatever. $800 freaking dollars. For $800 in Costco, you can get a 12-pack of cats. I wrote that joke today. So we got a dog, and the dog is great. She's a rescue. She's part Chihuahua, part Poodle, part Terrier. She's just adorable. She's a rescue. She's just a little over a year old. She's a puppy. And we named her Little Roxy because part of the Comedy Sports Complex is a theater called Little Roxy. So we actually named her after this. And she's great, but she's definitely Gary's dog. I mean, he walks in, he's the Messiah. I mean, she leaps into the air, she licks him, she doesn't leave his side. She's okay with me, but she's always on his lap, sleeps with him. So I finally had to admit that Rick Santorum was correct. I got gay married, and now my husband is sleeping with a dog. So sometimes the right wing is spot on, you know? All right, well, good luck at the top of Mount Hood, sir. What a wedding. Coming to stage now, I've had a lot of students, probably over 100 now, maybe more than that, and this guy has wanted to do stand-up more than any student I have ever had. Please welcome Jeff O'Malley. There he is. He wants it, baby.
First, can we give it up for Sensei Carl right there? He's had to listen to these acts for a month straight. And let me tell you what, during class number 1, I would have sent us all home. With full refunds. And gas money. And restraining orders. It was bad, it was really bad. I wake up every day. I pour my heart out, okay? But I never feel understood. I teach ESL. And English is, just because we all speak it, it's tough as hell to learn, all right? It really is. Because we've all tried to learn another language, right? I mean, and 10 minutes a day is not gonna cut it. On Duolingo. We've given that up, right? Especially learning crap like, ba-bing! My horse has teeth. Ever had to use that? I thought all day for what scenario that phrase would be used for. And I got it. No, no, no. Take it all back, it's not true. Your horse is not more attractive than my horse. My horse has teeth. Maybe? What's tricky about English are the expressions, right? I mean, I have star students. This young boy from Afghanistan, he's wonderful. And he comes up to me one day and he says, Mr. O'Malley, what is this meaning, dick it easy? And I said, Mohammed, who's giving you this advice? And he says to me, no, Mr. O'Malley, all the time, my teacher's telling me, have a nice day, see you later, dig it easy. I said, that's an expression. I'm so sorry, right? It's like, expression is when you say, it's like another way to say something, right? And people use it all the time. And he said, oh, Mr. O'Malley, learning this in English, there's no taking it easy. And sometimes my students, right, can have tricky interactions, because they may be communicating in their second or third language. And a while back, a young African student, right, Raymond, very sweet boy, accidentally took his neighbor's cell phone, young Chinese girl named Peng. And Peng was very upset. And Raymond, right, he felt awful. He returns the cell phone to her and repeats, you know, I'm so sorry, you know. But Peng was very upset, as we all would be when we couldn't find our phones, right? But in that moment, she was so moved to say her first English words, which were, "Shut the fuck up!" True story. Can't make that up. Right. And then I have to calm her down. We're all upset. Imagine my surprise, right? So I was like, bang, bang. It's okay. You got your phone back, you know? Settle down. And then, and I told her though, for the use of that phrase in my classroom, full credit. Perfect use case. Couldn't have said it better myself. All right? I mean, because she really cared about her grades. Finally, things blew over, and I told them to run along and take it easy. I can be prone to silly ideas. Not long ago, I was at a comedy club, and I was very drunk. And I thought I could teach myself comedy by YouTube. YouTube has great do-it-yourself content. DIY comedy, not so much. Quick disclaimer for my friends and family. Only I thought this was a good idea. All right. I didn't bumble home drunk and go, hey, I want to be a comic. All right, let's sell the house, right? I married better than that. I realized, though, that it might be better than my previously failed dream. Basketball pro. Which was my dream when I was 8, all right? I just didn't know at 8, I was gonna be 5'8". And you know what? When you're 8 and you tell your teacher what your dream is, and they reply with, well, hey, great, Jeff, so what's your backup plan? You have an ill-fitting dream. And your new dream is your backup plan. I guess she saw my parents at the conference. I don't know. They're not very calm. It's really a silly plan, because now that I think about it, all I did was rehash my basketball dream into my comedy dream, all right? Watch a few videos, practice on Friends, and star in the Motor Center. Right? I guess it made me realize that when I'm drunk, I have the ideas of an 8-year-old. Or 8-year-olds are drunk people. I don't know. But it was an elegant plan, right? So simple. Approved by 8-year-olds and drunks. The comedy's been tough for sure. Really tough. In spots, humiliating. Because I used to like to make fun of people and tease them. But I had to stop all that a while back. Actually on Tuesday. Because on Tuesday I was heckled, and it hurt. And I really couldn't do much about it, because he was right. He said, "This is disappointing. And you're not funny." I know. Disappointing I could handle. I've already done that to my parents. But not funny was my only redeeming quality. So in a rage, I grabbed this heckler by the shirt and said, "God damn it! Go to your room! No PlayStation for you." Quality parenting. It's tough, man. It really is, you know? I mean, I've learned to try to make myself more vulnerable, be honest, and all that in the process. It could really make you sad, you know? Not in like a boo-hoo kind of way, but in more of a, you drank all the Heinekens kind of way. They were supposed to be for everybody. But then that ego voice, right, in your head kicks in. The one that tries to protect you with lies, you know? Says things like, "Jeff, you're funny as hell, Jeff. Jeff, they don't know comedy. Jeff, size doesn't matter." It's tough. It really is tough. Kind of, like I said, making yourself vulnerable, putting yourself out there, taking these huge risks. I was kind of thinking to myself, screw comedy. Being sad's easier. I got into this because I wanted to make jokes about like current events and stuff, you know? I wanted to make jokes about like national security, not personal insecurity. The great thing is, my wife Connie is very supportive of my comedy. And I think it's because she's truly never heard it. For real. For real. It's the only way I got her here tonight. But there's a reason for that. Because she's got a great eye for quality and doesn't like to lie. This is her, an impersonation of her, telling a truth. Did you work on this? This is not good. It's about right. And this is her, this is an impersonation of her telling a lie. Did you work on this? This is not good. Sorry. The lie is the sorry part. For those of you who don't get them real quick. So, I have like these really super insecure ideas about stand-up, relationships, and everything. And I concocted this thought that, what if my stand-up was like so bad that it could actually cause a divorce? A conversation like this is entirely plausible to me, okay? Yeah. Did you hear? Jeff and Connie got a divorce. Yeah, apparently he tried stand-up. Yeah, it was terrible. She took everything. She took the house, the kids, and these stupid punchlines. I'm Jeff O'Malley, everybody. Thank you. Happy birthday, Lydia.
Jeff O'Malley, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff O'Malley. Jeff, Connie's in the audience tonight, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Jeff and Connie, just so you know, Justin, they got married at the top of Mount Everest. One more time for Jeff O'Malley. Jeff teaches ESL at, is it Beaverton High School?
Southbridge High School.
Oh, it's an assembly now. We're going to talk to you kids about drugs. See Lindsay after the show. Yeah, I have to tell you, I admire teaching, and in public schools especially. If I were in charge, teachers would start at $100,000. That's the bad news is I'm not in charge, except here. So great job. I just love these. Give them all a round of applause. And by the way, PortlandComedy.com. We have I have 2 courses in January. One January 15th, another introductory course. I think there are 2 spots left in that, and 3 spots left in the intermediate class that starts on January 18th. So PortlandComedy.com. And just think about it, like Mike Shriver, who was up here. I mean, he was, just think of Mike. He was having a nice meal. One night he's having fettuccine with tomato sauce and aquafresh, and now he's on stage, ladies and gentlemen. Just PortlandComedy.com, forget the toothpaste, do this. Coming to the stage now, one of the great joys for me, and Gary loves this, because I get out of the house on Monday nights, Thursday nights, and come home happy. And I really do love everybody in the class, because it's part of the workshop that we do, that everyone supports each other and helps workshop their sets. And just everybody I've met on this whole process, other than a couple people, but they know who they are, not in this group, has just been wonderful and above board. And I love their perspectives, as I said before, because comedy is universal, but we all have variations on our humanness and what we do, what we think, and how we enjoy or not enjoy life. So please welcome Michael Luna. Love him. Michael Luna, ladies and gentlemen.
My name is Michael Richard Luna. I always say my full name because it has to do with the story I'm about to tell. How I went from potentially being really fucked up, to less fucked up, to working with the fucked up. So I was born Michael. My mother named me before I was even born. She decided to pick someone that, that I could emulate, I guess, in a sense. So she picked Michael, the angel in the Bible, from the book of Revelations. The apocalyptic one, the one with Stephen King may have written. So that's how I started. And then the next step, which is always kind of weird to me, I don't think they do this as much anymore, but back when I was baptized in the Catholic Church, I was in my mom's warm arms, right? Then handed naked to an oddly dressed man who dunked me in water. And I just imagine that started my journey to being a little bit messed up. Well, I continued that by being a part of the Catholic Church, going to catechism. And what was very stood out to me the most was that I was evil. Now I knew. My dad got upset with me all the time, so it wasn't hard. My mother never got mad at me, never got upset, so I didn't understand this whole thing about being evil. But one of the nice things, and I kind of relate it to like a car wash, is if I went into this closet and I said the bad things I did to, again, that oddly dressed strange man, that I would be clean again. I became addicted to this. It was really hard not to go back and back and back. I felt like I was on repeat rinse in a washing machine every time to just clean myself up. My next impression of, so my middle name is Richard, which is also, Dick is for short. Thank you. I'm not sure how to take that. But, so my father was named Richard, but he went by Dick. He loved the name. He honored the name. He had a nameplate on his desk, Dick. Everybody referred to him as Dick. He had accommodations on the wall. Congratulations, Dick. He was just loving it. He was very self-aware, as I found out. He's a very angry man. And he confused me about religion a lot. Because when he got mad at me, he would often say, "God damn it, Michael." Or, "Jesus H. Christ, Michael." And so my image of who God and Jesus was changed a little bit. I wasn't sure if he was blaming God and Jesus for me, or, I didn't want to say this to my father, they were dicks also. So, like I said, he was an angry man. He was also a swinger. Not the cool kind, but one where you didn't have to do much to be almost hit by my father. Dinner table, in the car. One time he hit me when I was sleeping. I don't even know what I did. He must have imagined I dreamed something. So I spent my life avoiding the swinging dick. Which, interestingly enough, prepared me for my career choice. Remember I said earlier that I worked with the fucked up. So I've been working about 40 years now with, children, teenagers, adults who are troubled, who get into difficulties. But they get angry and they get violent. And so one of the nice things about being around Swinging Dick, prepared for my career, like I said, not gay porn, but to avoid being hit by these violent individuals. So I was really good at it. I avoided punches, I avoided kicks, I almost avoided a belt buckle. And then one that I wasn't prepared for was getting pooped on. But that's another story. So I had this relationship with God. It was kind of interesting because I felt like I was always naughty, and so I was always trying to clean myself up. Well, I decided to go the party life. And so when in my teens and up until about 20, I was a big partier, did a lot of drugs, had lots of sex. Like, lots of sex. It was like the 70s were repeating the 60s. It was a very promiscuous time. And so I thought I, had it together. Well, then I had a crash, literally a car crash. I had a girlfriend break up with me. And I went and I started living with my mother again. And I'm 20 years old. Now I know that probably happens more often now, but back then it was definitely frowned upon. But I got really low. It was a pretty bad time. And so I came to the point of the road where, and somebody had talked to me about it, it was suicide or Jesus. So it was an easy decision. Obviously I'm here today. I was very into it. I even grew my hair out long. I kind of wanted to emulate him a lot. I had, hope, I had faith. It really got me through those tough times. However, the one thing they don't tell you about some religions, and at least the ones that I was a part of, is that sex is generally not a big thing. Like, it's not really a thing. It's more about producing the kids. And I want to say, the Chinese think they're efficient. If they do the math with me, with 3 kids doing the deed, I'm batting about a 750. You give me any Chinese that are batting 750. I just want to say. So the great thing about having kids is, I love raising them, and my goal was to not fuck them up like I had been fucked up. I don't know how I've done. I think they're in therapy. Talk to their therapist about it. So I have 3 kids. 2 of them are gay. 1 just came out. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I need to back up in the story a little bit. So my last name is Luna, and our line has lots of gays in it. It's this big part of the gene pool, I guess, in the Luna clan. I'm actually a minority in the Luna line. So when my 3rd child came out as hetero, I was so proud. I'm a little worried, though, about the difficulties he's going to face. I started working in psychiatric facilities as a therapist. And so we work with teenagers who had extreme mental health issues, substance abuse issues as they came in. And so we would, like I said, we would try to stabilize them, basically, is what we're doing. And then one day, someone I had never met before came in, young man, long hair, trench coat, name of Oscar. However, he was delusional, so he went by the name of Jesus. He thought he was Jesus. He looked like Jesus. He even acted like Jesus. He was great in groups. He would sit there with his clasped hands. I often thought that he was praying for me as I was doing group. I was feeling supported. But then, the other patients started listening to him and ignoring me totally. I started to get a little bit like, maybe he should just do group then. They started dressing like him. They were following him around. Often they would go to his room with glasses of water, which would seem weird because, you just drink water in your room, right? Why would you take water anywhere else? Well, we found out that we were an alcohol-free facility, and some of these guys wanted some booze. So they were hoping. We weren't for sure. So we put a kibosh on it. No more taking water to Jesus' room. He was also very popular in the cafe, especially on Fish Fridays. 3 days, I kid you not, 3 days after he was hospitalized, he was Oscar again. Or was he? I'm still not sure that the Lord did not come to, help us with these so you never know. So that was my past. So I'm going to move the timetable up to 50. So that was about 10 years ago. Not really to any kind of religion at that point. I met my partner. I sometimes call her my wife. She reminds me that I'm her partner. I'm trying to be progressive. It's getting harder, but I'm trying. Having gay children helps also in regards to progression. So I appreciate that. And she's probably kind of helped keep me alive. She's introduced me to the other food groups besides meat and sugar. She has introduced me to other clothing options than tank tops and shorts. And I work 1 job, not 4. Felt really good. And then I'm really into gummy vitamins, which does it all. So Very appreciative of that. My daughter also tries to manipulate me to eat well, healthy. So she thought it'd be a good idea because she knows I really want to be a grandpa. It's just something I want to do, someday. And so she said, "You want to be around long to be a grandfather? You need to really slow it down on the ice cream, okay? Because I'm not." So my reaction, instead of like listening and reducing my ice cream and looking forward to the future, was, I don't know how long I'm going to be around. So I'm eating more ice cream in her presence, hoping that she'll have it a little sooner. So the other thing that happened when I was 50, so like I said, I had drug usage in the 70s, grass, marijuana, literally grass back then for you young people. I think we got high off the carbon monoxide, not the actual THC. So one of the things I liked about turning 50 was the legalization of marijuana in Oregon. Wow. You'd have told me that I could go from bed in my robe and slippers downstairs to a weed shop. I thought you were high. One of the things I like about the weed of today is you don't need a pound to get high. One toke, and you're on top of the world. Best food in the world, best music in the world, best movies in the world. I know more than Aristotle. Except I have a bad habit when I get high. I like to function. I like to actually go out in the community. I don't just hide in my place and hit a bong all day. Even though there are days that actually can help. So one of the things I do is, I don't know why this happens, because I'm not this way when I'm straight. Not straight, well, I am straight, but you know what I'm talking about. Trying, I really am trying to get all this straight. Is I start handing out cash to homeless people. What's bad about it is, they don't even need to ask. I'm just handing cash out. My wife got wind of this and now will not let me leave the house with so much money in my pocket. But did that stop me? No, because some of them will take checks. It surprised me too. I wasn't sure when he said the name of the mission he was working for, houseless person, if he was being straight with me. But also you have these people on corners with iPads, you've seen them, they want monthly donations for ACLU, Sierra Club, Children's International, Greenpeace. Which other one have I joined, honey? It's so bad now, they fill in the demographic information before I even hand them my credit card. So my wife has put kibosh on that too, because I get a little crazy, again, when I'm stoned. The other thing that happens, which is also kind of weird, is I will have a conversation with someone that lasts maybe a minute. At the grocery store, at the bus stop, in the elevator. And I will come back and share these stories with my wife. I go, oh my God, I just met this guy, and he was born in, here, and this is what he does for a job, and man, he has struggled his whole life, but right now he's doing really well, and on and on. And this was a minute conversation. And so what has happened is I have got more information on strangers than I know about anybody that I even know. So one day we're going out, sometimes we'll go separate ways as we're hanging out in the city, and she goes her way, and I just sit there, have a cup of coffee on a table outside a cafe. Well, about an hour later, she shows back up, wearing a brand new ACLU shirt, Sierra Club hat, and I introduce her to a houseless person that I've been chatting with for the last hour. Dear, this is Johannes. Johannes is going to live in our car. And my wife, because she's so great and she knows how wacky I can be, kind of takes it in stride, doesn't doubt me, but is not sure how to handle it. So going from potentially fucked up to working with the fucked up to becoming less fucked up, she has accepted it all. So my moral of the story is, do good. Don't be a dick. And when you start to invite people to live in your car, be with somebody that's not going to divorce you. Thank you very much.
What's your wife's name, Michael? What is it? Julie. Where's Julie? It's just Julie. Give Julie a round of applause. I want to start a support group for Partners of Comics. Gary will lead you through the steps. Good job, Julie. It's Michael's a delight. One more time for Michael Luna. Good? Good. Where did you guys get married? Was it on a hillside or meadow? Were you in a meadow, maybe?
We were in Edgefield.
Oh, in Edgefield.
Drinking beer.
Oh, drinking beer. Shocker. How much did he tip all the people out there? It's true, Brian. I don't want to know, you know. Because I made a lot of cash under the table during the class. I had the Save the Comics t-shirt on. So thank you. Yeah, thanks. Second mortgage. You'll see when you get home. All right, one more time for Michael. Great job. You guys are great. Portland is a great audience. A lot of cities. I played all 50 states. Great cities like Chicago, San Francisco, New York, Portland, Seattle. I also had to go to the Deep South. That was always tough. I was in Pamplona, Alabama for the Running of the Rednecks, and I was gored by their sharp intellect. Anyway, thank you. They didn't get that joke there at all. I got an ass whooping, but it was worth it. It really was. We don't know what you said, but God damn it. Usually, occasionally in the class, I have someone that I know before the class begins, and I've known Casey for a long time. She's a longtime political activist, chair of the Democratic Party of Oregon for a while, and yeah, does great work. Good friend of mine, and of course, funny too. Please welcome Casey Hansen. Casey! You got coat back, baby.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Casey.
Hi, Casey.
Oh, that was good. Hi. My name is Casey.
Hi, Casey.
Hello. Oh, all right. Sorry, that's not part of the act. My pronouns are she, her, and. Are you a fucking dyke? Why, yes, I am. Well, as you heard, I've been a political activist for years, and I was chair of the Democratic Party, chair of the Multnomah County Democratic Party, chair of the Stonewall Caucus, chair. So I spent about a dozen years on mic in front of people, and I always wanted to say the F word. Madam Chair, point of order. Point of personal privilege. Robert's rule says, shut the fuck up! Oh, that felt good. So, yes, I am gay. I am a lesbian. I am what you would call a classic butch type. Now, this is classical culture, mind you. Pre-millennial, butch type, dipstick. You know, so you can tell I'm kind of masculine in my affectations. I like sports, I like cars, I like trucks. I'm into fixing shit. I'm into cussing at it when it don't fix. But, you know, a real classical, you know, no question about it, yeah, that one's a dyke, right. Well, Carl actually was gonna put me first in this hit parade. And then he realized that if you tell Butch Dyke, you're gonna go first in the parade, she's gonna come in on her motorcycle. And that, he just mixed that idea entirely. So that didn't happen. So anyway, yeah, I came out many moons ago, last century. I was a baby dyke in the end of the 70s when I came out. And that was kind of like the tail end of gay liberation movement. You know, it was still called gay at the time, right? So, you know, as we marched through the 80s and 90s, we gained, you know, we started calling it gay lesbian. Then we started calling it gay lesbian bi. Oh, and that's when the acronyms started up. Okay, LGB. And then a few years, several years after that, we added the T on. We got the G, L, B, T, okay. Well, but back in the day, even heterosexual people knew what it stood for. Guacamole, lettuce, bacon, and tomato. But who knew? You know, fast forward another generation, we've got A's and I's and Q's and P's and digits. You know, the A's stand for asexual, asinine. I's, intersex, inquisitive. Q's, queer, questioning. Yeah, the only thing I ever questioned was whether to use a torque wrench or an impact driver. But anyway, you know, as a classic butch lesbian, you know, I've had a variety of relationships, many of them in what another classical culture lesbian is, a lipstick lesbian. Now, what a lipstick lesbian, who she is a very feminine lesbian, or she can pass. She's pretty. She does her hair, which is something I don't understand. This is how I do my hair. It works really well. She, you know, she likes feminine things. She uses this stuff called makeup. Oh, so much makeup. It's a damn chemistry step all over the apartment. Anyway, but the lipstick and the dipstick, we get along well. It's a fairly good relationship. She doesn't know the difference between a flathead and a Phillips head screwdriver, but screwing is involved. I know, that's bad. That was Carl's idea. Hey, I don't blame you. So my last relationship ended, this is really bad. My last relationship ended more than a dozen years ago. Yeah, I'm kind of hard to get along with. She was lipstick. I'm still the dipstick. But, yeah, it was bad. She moved out on me, and it was her apartment. Yeah, I was under the impression that she was out to take care of her, you know, an ill relative. Her mother was sick. And then I discovered she moved into a houseboat with a dude. Yeah, I discovered she was banging the boy on the little bitty houseboat, and Casey was done for. So I know what you're thinking. Did I turn my girlfriend straight? And if I did I lose any punch card points? No. See, once again in classical culture, there's this concept known as tourism. And what a tourist is a woman who heretofore practiced the art of heterosexuality, or science, not sure which, and along comes the woman of her dreams. Well, dreams she didn't know she was having, but anyway. Along comes this woman and voila, oh, by the way, voila, that's French for vagina. Voila, she goes gay. But sadly, the tour ends after 3 years, 7 months, and 11 days. And she goes back to the boys. You know, you've heard of Rick Steves Europe? I've been a tour guide on so many relationships, it's like Casey's USA. So, you know, I got to wondering, was it, well, you know, maybe I should go back in the closet. So I tried to go back in the closet, I opened the door, and 3 toolboxes and a cow socket fell out. And maybe it's that I just have not yet transitioned. into modern LGBTQ CP30R2D2 culture. Because, you know, in modern world, we have this really crazy long acronym and so many flags. I mean, there's a flag I can fly that can tell people who I am, what I do, what I like, what kind of coffee I like, what kind of truck I drive, and, you know, the size of my motorcycle. Okay, so I started looking this stuff up, right? You know, think about it. We have over 30, I mean, almost 3 dozen flags in modern LGBT culture, describing everything. Well, the original rainbow flag actually has got a really great historical context, because it was designed back in the late 70s by a guy by the name of Gilbert Baker, and he was a compatriot of Harvey Milk. I mean, that's pretty classic stuff. It's almost 45 years ago that the original Great Rainbow flag was designed by him. It originally had 8 stripes, and a couple of years it went down to 6 because, you know, production costs. But hey, I mean, that's a pretty remarkable legacy. I mean, think about it. Betsy Ross designs the American flag. A compatriot of Harvey Milk designs the rainbow flag for gay culture. He does Boys and Girls, designs the polysexual flag on Tumblr. Historic, I tell you. So anyway, the flags are pretty amazing. I mean, there's 166 flags to go, and we could be our own UN. LGBTQPIA plus UN, baby. So if we, that would be one hell of a peacekeeping force. Let's send that bunch over to Ukraine and Middle East. Wouldn't that scare the shit out of everybody? Look out, Putin, you son of a bitch. So anyway, I started looking up for the lesbian flag. Okay, the lesbian flag is orange and white and pink. Well, nothing says Casey like a pink flag. Are you kidding me? This thing looked like I'd be draping around a cloth with it's a Pepto-Bismol orange Julius, for God's sake. That thing be ugly. But yeah, I kept looking. I'm looking for more, and there's this abrosexual flag. What the hell is abrosexual? I'm looking that up. And all this stuff, you'd think I'm pulling your leg. This is all online. The abrosexual flag is, abrosexual person is a person whose gender identity is fluid, and their sexual orientation is fluid too. In other words, they don't give a shit, and woohoo! Their flag is ugly as hell too, so they don't give much of a shit about that. It's another design from the Tumblr School of Art and Design. But the drag queens have a pretty good flag. It's nice. It has a crown. They have nice blue, a nice lavender, deeper colors, and a crown. A tiara, if you will, in the middle. A drag queen with a tiara on the flag, that makes sense, right? I got orange Julius Pepto-Bismol flag. How about a dark blue flag with a motorcycle on it, for God's sake? At least I can hang it upside down to indicate my relationship life is an SOS. No, but that's not happening. Anyway, I got looking at the more of the flags and that kind of thing, and just diving deep into it. And you know, I got feeling a little bit old about it, because you know, I can't remember all these flags. I can't remember, even if I know what they're talking about, I can't remember what all these definitions are. And the stripes are even supposed to be indicative of certain colors too. Now, that'll be a test in the morning, I swear. I couldn't remember this stuff, but I was feeling bad. I was feeling old, right? And then I kept looking it up on different websites, and you know, a lot of places have good information on this. My personal choice was Reader's Digest. I'm kidding you not. And but there's a lot of these places where you can read the commentary. And there was this one kid that wrote in, and he's like a 14-year-old boy, and he's coming around to his sexuality, and he's realizing he's gay. But the stuff he's looking at the same thing I am, and he's like, I can't remember this stuff. I can't remember all these flags. I can't remember all these terms. I can't remember the acronyms. Can I still be gay? I'm like, oh honey, oh God, you made me feel younger now, thank God. But I realized something, it's like, of course you can still be gay. The flag, you know, it's great to be independent, right? It's great to be proud of who you are. It's great to come to terms with who you are and be proud of that, be willing and able to share it. But flags are also meant to be a sign of unity. And that's where the original rainbow flag comes in. I have one here. Yes. All right. Because what this flag is about is it's to drape over all of us. To everybody in the LGBT family, and to our extended family, and to our friends, and our allies, in other words, all you all. This flag is about all of us because you're all welcome underneath it. And because love wins. Well, maybe everybody but George Santos. I'm Casey and I'm a dipstick.
Good job, Casey. Casey Hansen! I always am glad when people come out because I think it's important to understand all of our history, and sometimes it's hidden, and people like Ron DeSantis want it hidden for a lot of groups in America. I know there are a lot of people who were gay that we know about. John Maynard Keynes, who invented modern macroeconomics, Alan Turing, who invented the modern computer, George Santos, who invented everything. Now he claims he wasn't in Congress. That's the amazing thing. There are also people in history that we might have been gay, but we'll never know. One of my suspicions is maybe Marco Polo, and it's mid-13th century, and Vandals have sacked Europe, and Crusaders have sacked the Middle East. He's off looking for silks and spices. Just a guess. And if you're a gay man in the year 1271, you just want a comfy caftan and a little nutmeg. Really? Take the edge off all the bloodshed, is what I'm saying. The other thing I don't understand is gay Republicans. I can't see the cognitive dissonance there. I can't. And they have a new name. They used to be the Log Cabin Republicans. Now they're LGBTQAnon, is what they are. Thanks. I'll be here on Mondays and Thursdays. Are you ready for our final performer tonight? Comedy.com. Not yet. I haven't introduced you. One of the things I teach my class is just ramble on stage when you feel like it. Oh God. Paul is a delight to have, and I'm glad Casey was on. Well, I did the lineup. We can start veering up with political messages because this guy has a unique it's my political message, but he puts it into his comedy and his poetry. Not mine as if I wrote it, but maybe all of ours. Please welcome Paul Stewart.
I've got 3 pages because memorizing all this is like teaching a poodle calculus, and so and I just want to say you came for the laughs, you got them. These guys were great. I was watching them develop, and I'm amazed. So I'll try and avoid reading too much, but here we go. This is pretty much a hostage letter as a tone poem. So, fuck you, Bill Maher. My name's Paul, and I'm woke. all are my new anonymous friends where I can share my struggles with being woke in a country that isn't. So, yes, I'm not crazy, but it's making me mad. People don't know what woke means, but they don't like it one bit. It's a mind virus. It's taking away our freedom. It is, it's an attack on our freedom. It's coming for our kids, our jobs, our gas stoves, and our toilets, where they only give a shit. It's bad. They're mad and glad you're sad. And if you do know what it means and you don't like it, then maybe you're unconscious or unconscionable or maybe just a racist. It is used as a slur for liberal, which is used as a slur for people that want health care for everybody, everybody to have a job, nobody to go hungry, nobody to go homeless. And it is, yeah, it's also a space out. You know, liberals are the ones that want the future to look like Star Trek, not Mad Max. So how am I, a middle class, middle-aged, cis white male, woke? Well, I think I got here like a lot of others. I am aware of the fact that America has a little problem with people that had the audacity, the nerve, the gall to have skin tone that is not white. And so it's a problem that it's easy to ignore. I mean, if you are privileged, you can kind of pretend like it's not there. But every now and then, we get reminded in the news that sometimes there are problems, and they come along and they remind us, and we then are overwhelmed by new stories, because of course everybody needs to know that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are the real deal. So, yes, and I think I'm just gonna skip a bunch of stuff there because going backwards in time doesn't work. Okay, so it's so easy to forget or push these troubling thoughts away, just like how, because I care about our furry four-legged friends, I'm a vegan. Not really, I'm a non-practicing vegan. Because bacon cheeseburgers. It's really so easy to forget and just close your eyes, and it tastes so much better. So, yeah. It was better when I wrote it. Okay, so what changed? I'll give you a hint. Several years ago, the landscape of color changed in America. There was a new hue in view. It was angry orange, boldly bronzed, pouty pumpkin, hold the spice. Yeah. This golem, crafted from hordes of hamburgers, hubris, heartlessness, hatred, topped by a floss of spun yams, told people what he thought, and they liked it. Yeah. Yeah, you know, the teleprompter here is broken. So what he told them was their hate was his and it was good. Out from the shadows, slithering free from under rocks, from their mother's basements, they came. The followers, the mouth frothers, the faithful, powered by ignorance, anger, and more so hate. The right had finally found a renewable resource that they believed in. Hate. This clown car parade could not be ignored. They marched and they shouted and they waved flags. So many flags. They're here, they're to fear, they're not going away. And that is when I realized that what I pretended no longer existed had been here the whole time, and closing my eyes to it did not mean it was going on the whole damn time. So, coming back around to the crazy part, this would all make a bunch of great movies. We would have the comedy, like the Four Seasons press conference, the tragedy, like the stacking of our courts, action movies, like the sacking of the Capitol, and palace intrigue, like putting a man-child on the throne for life. But that is only palatable as fiction. As nonfiction, it's a bleak documentary on very bad people doing even worse things. Finally, conservatives do believe in recycling, unfortunately, only with our government. Regardless of your own skin tone, we are all in this together. And the normalization of the trivialization of the demonization of others is no laughing matter. That said, we are fighting clowns, and I know clowns are scary, especially clowns with guns. But we're better than them, we're smarter than them, and gosh darn it, there are more people like us. If you enjoy your irony with a little white whining, the comatose conservatives who are fine with the oppression of minorities, well, they are actually the minority. They tend to think they're good Christians, but they're really devil worshippers. After all, if Jesus teaches love and Satan teaches hate, which side do you think they're on? They wouldn't even know Jesus if they met him. They don't want the Sermon on the Mount. They want Duck Dynasty and an OnlyFans account. They're outclassed and outnumbered, and that's why, like the bad dogs they are, we must rub their noses in their shit. We must demonstrate intolerance of their intolerance. So wake up and smell the victory of unifying against the reactionary rebels, reducing reality to rubble. We're right, and the right is wrong. They are the immoral minority. So yes, my friends, wake up and be woke. Wear it not as a badge of honor, but as a sash of solidarity. If we do this together, we can make it history. Kumbaya.
Good job, buddy.
Paul Stewart, ladies and gentlemen, Paul just got hired as Mike Pence's new writer. Come on, Paul, take a bow. Preacher Paul, Preacher Paul. So I tell the students, first off, who are very nervous about performing, will the audience laugh? Will they laugh? And I said, get that script out of your head and flip the script. Your job is to take the audience on your journey. They're here to hear your take on things. You will be married at the top of a mountain. Right, Justin? And I think they did it, every one of them, so great tonight. Let's welcome them all on stage. Mike Schreiber, where's Mike? Mike Schreiber, Mike, come on in. Mike, what are you doing? You need toothpaste? Get up here. Come up on stage. Mike Schreiber, Yule Gallup, Lindsay, solid Lindsay, come on up. Jeff O'Malley, ladies and gentlemen. Uncle Luna, ladies and gentlemen. Casey Hansen. Preacher Paul Stewart. My students and newly minted comedians, give a big round of applause. I'm proud of every one of you. My pleasure. If you'd like to do what they're doing, portlandcomedy.com. Thank you guys very much for coming out on our Sunday